Good morning, I'm David Gaston, and this morning we're going to turn a duck call. We're going to make it out of bodock, hedge, mock orange from the Black Belt of Alabama. The Black Belt is a region that I was born and raised in. It's rich in heritage, rich in tradition, and there's a lot of rich country boys that live there. We start off, we take the wood, we cut it into squares, and then we mark the center of the wood. Everybody knows how to do that. You center punch it, we put it in the lathe, we drill it, and we wind up with a block just like this with a 5/8 inch hole in it. Okay? And then we're going to turn this down round, and then we're going to, that's the starting of the duck call. Here we go. At this point, we're turning it down to put the band on it, and this is how that process goes. Alright, we're going to have to hit it. Alright. Got the band on. We're going to apply a little pressure to it. To get it seated properly. Here's the tool we use to press this band down on here. There we go. It's a perfect fit. It goes back on the lathe. And we're going to make a duck call barrel. continuous radius. We're going to take that out right now. Alright, that's the way you rough out a duck call barrel. We've got to sand it, get it finished, and ready to go into the dipping vat. We're going to slow that lathe down a little bit. We're going to start with 400 grit paper. Turning about 1,725 RPMs on the lathe. A 600 grit paper over it. And there you have it. Ready for the finish. We're going to turn next. We're going to make an insert. Be the same way. I always make my barrels first, and I will sand and fit that insert to this particular barrel. Thank you. All right. We're going to do the insert. I cut my insert pieces about 5 inches long. I can do them out of less, but it's really tight down on the headstock end. We mark the centers of each piece, put a little countersink hole in for the spur to fit in, and the live center. And on these particular pieces, this was some straight grain hedge, high quality black belt hedge. And if you could count these lines, growth rings, you will find that the center matches the growth ring. And basically what that means is when you drill it, it will drill straight instead of the grain of this wood pulling it off. This is what we started with. I turned one down round to simplify things, make it a little faster. So we're going to make an insert. First thing I'm going to do is mark the insert with a Super Custom Deluxe handmade Gaston insert mark. All right, here we go. Start on the tail stock end. Excuse me, on the head stock end. We're going to take it down. Get that wood out of the way. We don't need it. It's going to be a cutout. But that is the length of the insert. Same thing down on the tip end of it. Here we go. Just to let you know that I do check things and measure. That is a homemade measuring device. scagging that material off. We're going to make a good, smooth, even cut. Get ready to start shaping and get the diameter of the skag on that insert. We've got the skeg about where it needs to be. We will do our final fitting to the barrel once we get the shape of the insert. Mark where the lanyard groove goes, which I just did, and now we're going to cut the lanyard groove in the insert. Nothing worse than having a custom duck call and losing the insert. All right. That is pretty close right there. Let's see how it's going to fit. We probably will have to sand a little material away, as I expected. We'll simply mark that with our thumb. All right. Let's see what we got here. Almost there. I see a lot of people take a 5/8 inch wrench and do that to check the diameter. It's not close enough. I just had that wrench laying there because I used it yesterday for something else. All right, let's check it and see if we got it right. Yep, that's my baby. We're going to do a little final sanding on it. Get it ready. We'll drill this baby out. We'll be in good shape. We've got a little sanding mark in there. We got to get him out. Sand it good, and then we'll part it off. Oh yeah. That's how you make that duck call. Insert doesn't wobble, fits smooth, parallel to the inside of the barrel, makes it fit better. We'll move on to the next step now. All right, we've got the insert we just turned in a collet chuck on a different lathe, and the center is marked on it, and we're going to take a dead center and start the hole for this insert. All right, we've done that. We're going to use a long length bit, and it has a stop on it to drill it to correct depth. And we're going to ease this hole in this. It's necessary to go in and come out so that drill bit will clean itself. If you don't, the grooves will get full of taken away material. And if you can see right here, they will fill up, and then you have a tendency to burn the material. Just kind of peck your way in there. All right. That step is completed, and now we're going to move over on the other lathe, excuse me, the drill press, and do one more little quick thing, and then this baby will be ready to cut and tune. All right, we're getting closer. All right, we've got that insert in the jig, the high center marked, and we're going to cut it out on the bandsaw. Then we'll file it, sand it, and get it ready. There's insert cut out. You will notice the hole is in the dead center of the insert as it should be. Sometimes we all miss them a little bit, but this one is pretty fine. All right. All right. We're going to file that tone board and get it down smooth with that jig. Probably we'll have to do a little sanding on it when it comes out to achieve the tone wear out. we're going to check it with a brand new clean file to ensure that we don't have a little hump or a ridge in there, and we didn't. All right, on the inside of this thing, I don't know if you can see it, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's some little wood fibers in there. All right, I don't know if you can see those down in the hole, but we're going to clean those out by running a drill bit in there by hand, spin it around both ways, clean as a whistle. All right, next comes the cork. Boogered that one up a little bit. All right. Now today, most of the young line call makers, don't mean to be disrespectful there, because I'm certainly not. We all started somewhere. But they will often use little razor blade knives and what have you, and that's fine. This is what I started with. This is what I'll finish with. An old kitchen knife. That reed's not good. And what we're doing now is checking the flex on that reed. Okay, that's one way to check it. Another way is to put it down on something and mash directly down, but it'll show you the flex in the reed. Slide that reed on the tone board. Ease that cork in there. And I would caution you not only about making calls, but when you put the cork in your call, when you're retuning, once you get the cork seated in the back of that cork slot, please don't continue to press on it, because that cork will rise up as you compress it in, and it'll pop that cork retainer off, especially on acrylic Corian type calls. All right, here we go. We're going to nip this reed a little bit. See what we got. That's a little bit too long. We're getting close. Now just to show you, here we go. There you go. And that's how you make a duck call. All right, we finished that hedge duck call, and we're sitting here in the shop. Tell you just a little bit about things. These tools up here are made. I handmade all of these tools. The measuring gauges I used. And I learned that from my predecessor, Mr. Alvin Taylor. He was my mentor. He shared some of the things that he knew about making calls with me. I've been very fortunate. Years ago, before there was YouTube and the internet and Facebook and all this stuff, what I know today was once held sacred. And when I say sacred, I mean it was almost like the Holy Grail. But today, things have changed. I understand that. You can look it up on YouTube. Probably watching this on YouTube, which is fine. And all the guys freely share information, and that's well and good. I still do things the old-fashioned way. I don't have a CNC mill or lathe or anything. I had a guy ask me last week, "You use that old lathe?" I said, "Yeah, I do. It's a workhorse. I have jet lathes. I have Delta lathes. I have 2 of these old Craftsman lathes, and they're just a workhorse. And it's like me and your dog, or you and your wife. You're just buddies, and that's the way I feel." But I've been doing this, making calls, for about 28, 29 years, but I've only been selling them for about 20 years. You can read on my website, www.gastoncustomcalls.com, and there's a history of how Alvin Taylor and I started and how our relationship developed. Along the way, I've had the pleasure of knowing Butch Richenbach, who is a noted call making. Butch has passed away, he and Alvin, and they're sorely missed in our world of duck hunting. And then there's Rick Dunn. You won't find a finer fella in the world, and Rick has helped me in the past. But we just are old-fashioned here. We do things the old-fashioned way. What you see is what you get. I'm a lot like Phil Robertson. I don't put on airs for anybody. This is me. This is how I dress every day. This is what I do every day, is I make calls in this shop. You notice my shop is not clean and dust-free and shaving-free. I see a lot of guys whose shops are like that. This ain't the one. This is a workshop. We make duck calls here. When it gets so thick I can't walk around and stumble, I get to rake it out, pick it up with a shovel, and we start again. But I make a lot of custom calls for people out of custom wood that they send me. My books are closed for this year on custom turning, but if you're interested in it, I'll be glad to start as soon as duck season goes out. I'm going to spend the rest of this year finishing up these custom orders that I have, and there are about 40 of those here in the shop at one stage or another. There's some swamp wood products calls. I have some stabilized hybrid woods that I've got to turn, and a couple of Corians. But if you're interested in a good duck call, a custom call, or one of my regular duck calls, please feel free to contact me through the website. You can call or text me at 251-769-2744. That's my cell phone. If you call and I don't answer, don't be alarmed, because that's a lathe running or a bandsaw running, and I can't get off the turn loose of what I'm doing to answer it. But I will call you back. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and give me a call if I can help. Thank you.